Can you understand why Billy's feeling clearly blindsided at the moment?
Yeah. We didn't have 50 million cameras around us talking about certain things, and I wouldn't be comfortable.
I'm sorry, but that's a cop-out. The cameras are not there at night when you're sleeping next to each other.
One thing I love about, Mafs UK and Mafs Australia's commitment ceremony is there's going to be drama. And with the experts, I wish they had this in the USA. I've asked for this. I've said this before, that they need to have commitment ceremonies every week, just like these other two shows do, because that will weed out people that are wasting other people's time. This one was a dumpster fire. It was a dumpster fire. We had the very happy couple. So Karina and Paul, Jeff and Ree, and Dave and Jamie, they were the happy-go-lucky couples. And then we had the toxic mess. For Adrian and Sierra, I'm side-eyeing them. They should have told their partners the truth. And I feel like their producers are going to keep them. They're going to do the Jono thing. But I hope they don't allow them to stay in the experiment. Jackie and Ryan are something else. They're something else. I don't even know where to start. And Morena, the audacity to be upset with everyone and try and sort of parent everyone because they laughed at something she said doesn't make sense to me. Given the fact that she was complaining that they don't engage her, they don't talk to her, they don't acknowledge her. Which is it? Does she want to be acknowledged or does she not? Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 12, Episode 13. Oh my god, I'd actually forgotten. So it's another commitment ceremony, the second one. Well, the second commitment ceremony. So you have everyone is getting ready and they're sort of reflecting on the night before. Paul and Karina are always good. They always mind their own business. They don't care about what's going on with everybody else as long as they're good. You have Ree and Jeff. Ree and Jeff have said that Intimacy Week was very good for them, which makes me question, what do you mean it was good? What happened? Tell us. I love them. I love that they're like Paul and Karina in the sense that Rhea and Jeff are minding their own business. They don't involve themselves in anybody else's drama. They're not after the drama. I think because they have this friendship, so they have a great understanding of one another. So whatever they're doing, they see a future with the person they're matched with and they understand why they've been matched. And so they've decided to focus on that. I'm here for that. I love it. You have Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave are in a good space as well. They, as a couple, are the breakout couple of the season, in my opinion, because of the way that they were sort of two opposite extremes and somehow have managed to find a common ground and seem to really be working, which I love for them. So they start talking about Ryan and Jackie and the drama that was there, because they're saying they were both offended by the comments that were made by Ryan. But the problem is they can't help Jackie because Jackie's more focused on the idea that she wanted to be top of the pyramid. And because she wasn't top of the pyramid, this is where she's stuck and she won't move from there. So everybody else can be more upset than you, the offended. This is the situation that's happening, that nobody else can be more upset for the offended person if the offended person doesn't understand the offense and it doesn't feel offended. So this is sort of a catch-22 whereby Jamie and Dave don't know what to do, how to help her, which is really sad. You have Ryan and Jackie. Jackie's in a good mood because Ryan bought her flowers. She's been asking for flowers and finally he bought her flowers. It's the smallest of bouquets. I don't even know why she's that giddy and excited. But as long as they're happy, we are happy for them. I want people to find love. So if that's how they find love, good for them. They are a toxic couple. They are a toxic couple in the sense that they are very rigid in what they want in life. And so unless someone can teach them to be a bit flexible and adaptable, they're going to struggle to find a partner. You have Aina and Adrian. They are having a back and forth because Aina believes in acts of service. So she's doing a lot of things for Adrian, but Adrian doesn't seem to be reciprocating whatever she's doing. And he doesn't seem to be acknowledging her acts of service because she says, I like to do stuff for people, but you don't seem to do anything for me, which is really sad that these people have been physically intimate before they've discussed anything, before they've discussed their love languages, before they've discussed anything. And now they're at this space whereby they're trying to have the conversations. And sadly, it's a bit too late because the other person, Adrian, seems to have checked out. And I think he's checked out because of whatever happened between him and Sierra, because we saw them in the last episode whereby their foot, so you were playing uglies under the table. So I don't know whether this is why he's disconnected from his partner or not. You have Billy and Sierra. Billy saying that they've finally been physically intimate after the first time they were physically intimate on their wedding. And so he is the only one talking. Sierra's not talking. Sierra's checked out. And it's like, was it that bad, or is it because she started sort of exploring something with Adrian, and so she's seen potential with Adrian? This is why she's checked out. If she's checked out, why then is she being physically intimate with someone that she doesn't like, knowing that he comes with a lot of abandonment issues? He's already written the letter. He's already read his letter out to her. So the idea that she would do this with him and then disconnect and not show any interest, it's really going to be a dumpster fire. It's going to be a dumpster fire. And I empathize with Billy. I think Billy should have been matched with Afina, and Adrian and Sierra deserved one another. That's the impression that I get, because Billy seems to have more capacity to sort of accommodate other people, whereas I don't think his wife has the same. You have Morena and Tony. Tony is back. Obviously, Morena is upset because of the dinner party. She feels like, he left her out to dry when everybody was coming after her. And it's like, if she had sat in her chair and if she had not gone after Ryan, nobody was going to come after her. But she opened the door by going after Ryan. And the moment she opened the door, Paul stepped in. And so she can't suddenly take offense and be offended that her husband didn't defend her when she is the one who started the war. Don't go to war if you don't have enough ammunition. She started the fight. She needs to deal with it. There's no reason why Tony should be dragged into that mess unless they're disrespecting her. They weren't disrespecting her. They were asking her genuine questions about her connection and her relationship. If she can give advice to somebody else, then she should be willing to receive advice. The previous week, she complained that the guys didn't speak to her. When they speak to her, she now complains that, they're picking on me. Make it make sense. What do you want? So everybody arrives for the commitment ceremony, and you can tell that people are feeling some type of way. They are in their feelings. Those that really enjoyed, intimacy week are making out. The others are just, staring at each other, staring each other down. And you actually have Mel say, "Oh, this looks cute," because you have people like Ree and Jeff there in a very good space. You have Dave and Jamie, they're in a very good space. You also have Karina and Paul, but they've been in a good space since the day they decided to sort of try and give this marriage a go. So everybody sits down, they're welcome to the commitment ceremony, and the experts decide to start off with Paul and Karina. I think they wanted to get the heavy start out at the start and then at the end. So the experts decide to start off with Tony and Morena, I think because they know that they are one of the, awkward situation they need to address before everybody else has a go. So they are first on the couch. There's this conversation, this back and forth, whereby Morena is upset that Tony keeps leaving, apparently keeps playing Houdini, and everybody else laughs. And then she gets upset that, why are you all laughing? This is not funny. And people are saying, we thought you were making a joke. This is why we laughed. Poor Billy was picked up in the class to say, why is everybody laughing? And so for her to be offended by that, it's just Morena was looking to be offended. And then she says, at the dinner party, I felt some type of way. I felt like 13 people were all coming against me. And it's like, nah, please don't. Tony didn't say anything. Everybody else spoke. A couple of the girls didn't say anything because they were busy worried about Jackie. So the idea that you think everybody was targeting you, just point out the people that you want to say. If she were to point out, she was going to say Dave, Paul, and Adrian. When Dave, I don't even think he said anything. So this angered Ree, because Ree said, I've tried to be a mediator. I've tried to listen to the two of you. So the idea that you'd include me in the number of people that didn't care about you is very upsetting. And I love that, she had to be called out by John to say, can you, the two of you, tell me who's responsible for the breakdown of your marriage? Tony said 50-50. She says 80-20 and is asking, so who's 80? She went, Tony. I was like, seriously, you need a mirror, madam. You need a mirror, and you need to watch yourself on TV to see how you come across, because the way Morena has carried herself on the show, it sort of puts in question her story that she came into the sort of show with, because it makes you question that if she cannot see what she's doing wrong on the TV show that's being recorded, what about what she did off camera? I'm not minimizing her experience. I don't know her personally, but it's just the fact that if she's making these allegations and then she's behaving in this way, it makes you question that seriously. So I love that John was able to break it down for her why Tony might be running away, for her to say there was only negatives, there was no positives. This man paid for your children to come and spend time with you because he couldn't cope. What else do you want him to do? Acknowledge that, appreciate that, and keep it stepping. So I'm happy that she was told that she's very parental. When she's upset, she points, she shouts, she whatever, and then she went, oh, is that what I do? And it's like, Sherlock Holmes, what do you think? What do you think? So for her to write leave, I think she wanted to make a statement. I don't think she wanted to leave the experiment, but I think she was just trying to make a statement to scare Tony, to say, if you don't sort of change your ways, I'm leaving. Tony, on his part, wrote stay. Do I think it was a good idea? I don't know. I really don't. I think maybe for him to get assistance with whatever he does wrong in relationships, but not for this marriage. This marriage is not going anywhere as far as I'm concerned. Oh, next up is Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave are a revelation to a lot of people. I think with anyone else, Jamie would have been annoying. But I think because Dave is so relaxed and so laid back and is so accommodating, it has allowed her to realize that she doesn't need to overperform. I think part of it was performance, part of it was trying to seek attention or validation from her partner. So having this man who treats her as though, she's it and he doesn't need anyone else but her, and giving her the comfort and the space to be herself, I think has allowed Jamie to sort of moderate herself. Because she was even complaining on the couch that, I used to be a bad bee, but now I'm so soppy, I'm so soft, I'm so, content, I can't do anything. I am all over this man. I can't, and Dave was saying she likes to cuddle. And so I'm happy that they are where they are because I root for love. And I'm happy that Jamie also said, when people say that there's no spark and they leave, I think it's a bunch of, crap, in the sense that you need to get to know the person and then your spark will ignite. And we have sparks coming out of our backsides. It was way too much. TMI, Jamie. But I love this for her. I love the fact that she is actually seeing the positives from this. And I think one of the things that's working for them is that they're very adaptable. They are very adaptable. So when one is low, the other one picks the other. And when the other is low, they sort of vice versa. So they're sort of constantly validating one another, constantly supporting and being there for one another, and they are acknowledging that I see what you're doing for me and I acknowledge it, and I'm so happy. So I could not be happier. They both chose to stay. Is anyone surprised? No. Next up is Paul and Karina. I don't even know why we even bother sitting them on the couch, because we already know what their response is going to be before they even say it. So they discussed the fact that, they had intimacy week, and yet Paul is over the moon. He's excited. He's happy. He is giddy. He reenacts everything that took place and is very grateful that they got to do this. I think Paul and Karina might have really liked each other, and they might have told each other to apply to the show. They are now my Ronnie and Harriet from Love Island, if that makes any sense to anyone. Because at the end of the day, the way they've been so compatible, it makes me question why they didn't make it work on the real world. But then at the same time, if they are doing these challenges and these exercises, that's going to build them as a couple, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, they're getting the counseling that they need in order for them to be a successful couple. And I really hope that the two of them mean what they say, because apparently Paul was on a previous show. I've said this before because somebody wrote it in the comments, but I love that they are very accommodating, they are very acknowledging, they are very complimentary towards one another. You even had John say to them, we might as well not be here, because every question we ask you, you're answering each other. You're not looking at us to sort of answer us, the experts, but you're looking at one another and sort of giving each other the responses to the questions that have been asked. And I think that's because they always want what's best for one another. I think that's because they always want to make sure that the other person is okay with whatever they're saying and doesn't feel offended or upset or hurt. So I love them as a couple. I love that they're very supportive. I love that they have this connection. I am still side-eyeing them because I think maybe they were already on this path before they entered the show. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I love that they've been able to sort of do the work, do the activities that they're asked to do, and haven't questioned or said, no, we can't do this because we've got a history, we already know this, that, and the other. But they're still doing the activities that they need to do in order to make themselves more successful. And you had Paul talk about life after the show, which I think is amazing. I feel like once they feel that they have the necessary tools, they shouldn't stay until, final vows, because at the end of the day, production are going to look for drama for them. So I would love for them to just continue to work as a team, continue to sort of put each other first, and hopefully they get the tools that they need to be a successful couple once they've left the show. Next up is Jackie and Ryan. I'm just going to say it. Jackie is the female version of Ryan, and Ryan is the female version of Jackie, because their mannerisms, the way they talk, their way of thinking is the same. This is why they're compatible, because they sit down and they're sort of asked about their couple, and they left everyone confused, including the experts. The experts themselves didn't know which way to face, because they were so confused, because they couldn't understand what was being said. Because Jackie is being asked, so how did you feel about what was brought up by the other couples at the dinner party? And Jackie's like, oh, we're over it, we've managed to reset. And it's like, yes, you've reset from what? Make that make sense. What did you reset from? Because the last time we saw the two of you, you were storming off, you were upset at the idea that how could he not put you number one? And so for them to continue to try and brush it under the rug was unacceptable. So Alexander had to actually ask, okay, about this ranking thingy, how do you feel about it? Oh, they reached an understanding that, later down the line, after they've been together for a while, if he has to rank, he'll rank her as the most beautiful. She wants to be treated as the most beautiful because, as a source of reassurance, because she's never had a situation whereby somebody hasn't found her as the most beautiful. And it's like, you two are very superficial. You two, oh my God, you two are annoying. Make it make sense. I don't even know why they were even on the couch. The experts can't even, with Tori and Jake from last season, at least it was calculated. At least you could see it coming. You could understand that these two people really most probably don't like each other, but they've decided to stay on the show. Whereas these two geniuses, you can't tell what's going on, because one minute they're arguing over something, the next minute they've forgotten about it and they've moved on. And because he got her 2 bouquets of flowers, Jackie is now at peace. She asked him to get her flowers and he's got her flowers, so she thinks he's amazing. Then she complains that, I don't think we would work in the real world. And now she's asked, Jackie, what is it about him that you like? And she lists about 10 things. And it's like, so if you like 10 things about this person, how are you then not compatible? Make that make sense? You are saying things that you think are positive about your partner, things that you like, things that make you feel like he's an ideal partner for you. So how then are you saying you're not compatible? I think Jackie and Ryan had their idea of who they wanted to marry. And when that person didn't walk down the aisle, they've been looking for an excuse. But then they've realized that as much as they are looking for an excuse, they're actually compatible and they don't want to look like idiots. So now they're sort of in this space whereby we're not compatible. Oh, but we are on this. Oh, but we're not. I don't know. Was anyone surprised they chose to stay? No. Next up is Rhea and Jeff. Rhea and Jeff, we all know they dated before. Sorry about my voice. I don't know what's happening there. They dated before. And so their biggest concern is that they were worried that the spark would fade. And I'm happy that they finally sort of revealed what happened last time, because apparently they dated before, but they were both coming out of long-term relationships. And maybe this is why it didn't work then. So this time they are trying to sort of cement the emotional side, because their relationship, it seems, at the time was just physical and that's all they were focused on. So now they're working on the emotional side of it. That way they can sort of, once that's cemented, it seems, they are happy to move on to the physical side, because they're saying, we just need to overcome a little hurdle. I love this for them. What I like is they haven't led with passion, but they've actually let their heads sort of set the pace of their relationship and their connection, which I really love. I love that they are sort of prioritizing one another and speaking positivity into their connection, into their relationship. The fact that you had Rhea sort of detailing all the things that he does for her to make her feel special, and Adrian was now feeling some type of way because he was now saying, please don't. And it's like, those are the things you're being called out for, things you're not doing for your partner. So she, at least sit there and listen. They both chose to stay. Am I surprised? No. Nobody's surprised. They were both going to stay because they are the sort of calmer version of couples this season, the calmer marriage this season. So I really love this for them. I love that they're staying out of other people's drama. They're not being toxic. They're just focused on one another and doing what is in their best interest as a couple. And I think because they have the friendship from before, they're very protective of one another and they're never going to say or do anything that's going to embarrass the other. So I love that for them. Next up is Adrian and Athena. Adrian and Athena, for me, I think should have stopped their marriage, or should have pressed pause on the honeymoon. The moment it came up that Adrian is not or is not keen on looking after somebody else's child, because they should never have continued from there as though nothing happened. Because now you have Afina in this spin whereby she's worried that she's got emotions for someone, or she's got feelings for someone who's not feeling her the same way. She complained, obviously, that he doesn't prioritize her, he doesn't do any acts of service for her, whereas she does everything for him. And he's busy looking up in the sky, he's busy looking at the guys smiling, and it's like, why are you doing that? You are no different from Ryan. The only difference is Ryan is saying words. Your actions are no different from Ryan, because you're both disrespecting your wives. Just because yours are non-verbal doesn't mean it's not disrespect. And I'm happy that John called him out and told him that, the way you're behaving is why your wife feels the way she does. I personally feel like I don't think he's there for the right reasons. I think he checked out the moment he realized she had a kid. I think had she not had a kid, he would have been all in 100%, because the physical side of it seems is amazing. It's only the emotional side that he has managed sort of to disengage himself. That way he doesn't sort of become emotionally attached to her. And it's really sad because she's breaking down and he's sat there. He's not even cuddling her or comforting her. And it's like, this man, how can he be such a man-child? You can't have 2 children. She's already got a child she's looking after. She doesn't need to look after a grown man. She really doesn't. And it's sad that this is the person that they matched her up with. Her gut instinct was right on wedding day when she said this man is too beautiful. He's there for a good time. He's there for opportunities that will come to him after the show. I don't think he's there to be married and sort of start a relationship with someone, because the first words out of his mouth are the ones that he should have believed when he told her, I want to be somebody's first. I want to have a first child with someone. I want to have a first experience of parenting with someone. So she's just forcing a situation which is not making any sense. And given the fact that you had Adrian and Sierra playing footsie, I can't wait to see what happens there, because that's going to be a toxic mess. And I feel sorry for Afina, because she's really going to be upset when she finds that out. Anyway, they both choose to stay. Am I surprised? No. Everyone wants to stay on the show because of the opportunities that come after. So nobody's going to leave unless things are really bad or unless the experts tell them it's time to go home. So last couple up is Billy and Sierra. Billy and Sierra, for me, I feel like their sex is terrible. That's what I'm going to say. I feel like it's terrible. I feel like this is why every time they're physically intimate, there is this disconnect whereby they're in this space whereby they don't know whether they're going forward or they're going back, and they end up struggling and trying to sort of reconnect so that they can move forward, because apparently they had sex after the dinner party, and then since then, as we saw in the morning when they were getting ready, Sierra's been awkward. And so Billy's saying, he's been able to open up to her, but she is saying she's struggling to open up. And I like that Alexandra was able to ask her that, okay, so you say you're struggling to open up to your husband, but have you opened up to anybody else? And she says, Adrian, of all people who refused to participate in the challenge, make that make sense. He refused to participate in a challenge he knew was very important to his wife, and yet he was quick to go and open up to Sierra, make it make sense. And for Adrian to use the excuse that, there were no cameras there. No. I think she knows what she did. I think Sierra and Billy might be pretending like they are happy-go-lucky in their marriage when they're not, because she tried to put it on him that remember I told you, we had the conversation, remember I told you. I don't know whether they've agreed that there are certain things they're not going to argue about or whatever they've agreed upon, because she tried to place on Billy that, when you're watching football, I told you that, I spoke to Adrian. No, you didn't. Your husband is saying you didn't. And I'm happy that Afina was able to ask, so are you saying Adrian opened up to you? And she went, yeah. That's when you know something is not right. Their feet were playing footsie under the table at the dinner party, and I have a feeling they're choosing to stay in the experiment because they want to be Ellie and Jono of the season. I feel like they should have been sent home. That's what I'm going to say. I feel like they should have been sent home, because if she has trauma that she has come into this marriage with, and she is struggling to open it up to her husband because of that trauma, then she needs to tell her husband. Alexander was right to say you can't say there's cameras, because the cameras are not there when you go to sleep. So when they go to sleep, that's when they should be talking about all this. When they're having sex, that's when they should be talking about this. So for her to try and sort of hide behind that, and for Adrian to try and defend her, so he's got more voice to speak up for someone who's not his wife, but he can't speak up for his own wife. Make that make sense. Makes that make sense? Adrian is not serious. I don't think he's there to be married. And sadly for Sierra, Adrian is going to treat her so terribly. She's going to regret ever having let go of Billy, because I don't think Adrian is seriously there for a marriage. I think he's there for a good time, but I don't think he's there for a marriage. And so I can't wait to see the fallout of that toxic mess, because things are going to fall apart and we're all going to be here watching and waiting to see what happens. And sadly, she's going to be left crying. She is going to be left crying because this man is not serious. I don't think he's serious about anything. I think he came on the show for clout and he's going to get clout, and Adrian is going to bounce and go about and be dealing with the girls that are in his inboxes. It's really sad that after Billy opened up to her and you know, revealed all his trauma from his dad, she didn't do that for him. Instead she ran and she opened up to Adrian. What is it about Adrian that made her feel comfortable enough to open up to him? Make that make sense? That's where my question is. What is it, or what did he say, or what did he do that made you feel comfortable? And is that why the two of you are so comfortable that you're playing footsie under the table when everybody else is sat there? I thought it was going to be brought up. I'm surprised it wasn't brought up. I wish the experts had actually brought it up, or I wish the producers had told the experts, unless they're holding on to it and are going to reveal it at some point. But I wish it had been revealed so that everybody knew what was happening at the dinner table. Anyway, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it and I can't wait for the next one. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 12. Bye guys.